Hi and welcome to a sneak peek of gold level exclusives at stampacademy.com. Today we have a bookmark for you, and this bookmark is not just a bookmark that goes into a book, but it actually opens up and then two magnets here and two more hidden here trap the page magnetically between. So the first thing you're going to do is take an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock and cut it at 2 inches, and you're going to score it right in the center, which is 4 1/4. You're going to take your bone folder and just fold that edge, and then you're going to take your 2 tags die. You're going to take a cutting plate, put down the 2 tags die, and we're going to be focusing on the smaller tag. You're going to take that piece of cardstock that you folded, and you want this fold to stay intact. So what you're going to do is line this up at the bottom, and you're going to make sure that the top does not go to the cut line. You're going to sandwich this between another cutting plate and run it through the Big Shot. When it comes out, you're going to have a tag that stayed together but does not have the rounded top. So to get that, you're going to take another piece of cardstock and you are going to put down your cutting plate again. You're going to put down your 2 tags die, and this time you're going to make sure that your piece covers the whole tag. You're going to cover that with your other cutting plate, and then you're going to run this sandwich through the Big Shot. When it comes out, you're going to have the full tag. Now before you adhere it, what we're going to do is we are going to emboss this. And we're going to do that using the Textured Impressions Vintage Wallpaper Embossing folder. So you're going to open this up, and if your label is facing you, then the impression will emboss forward. So you're going to line this up, and when I line it up, I'm going to try and make sure that it's even, because I want this design to be uniform and even on the front of my project. So once you're satisfied with the placement, you're going to open up your multi-purpose platform to tab 1. You're going to put a cutting plate down, put your embossing folder on top, cover with a second cutting plate, and run this through the Big Shot. When it comes out, you're going to have this nicely embossed piece, which eventually we're going to glue on there, but not quite yet. You're next going to take your scalloped circle and a piece of black cardstock and just pop it out. Next, you're going to take a piece of your silver glimmer paper, and you're going to pop a circle using your 1 3/8 inch circle punch. Put some snail adhesive on the back of that circle and then adhere it right to that scalloped circle. Now I'm going to adhere this piece to the tag, but I'm going to use glue dots to do that, because I want to make sure that this has a nice strong hold, because it's going to be handled a lot. So once I put a few of those on the back, I'm going to put that very close to the top and then press it down. Okay, we're going to put this aside, and next what we're going to do is take a couple of little magnets. My favorite are these little tiny magnets. They're kind of hard to find, but they're so strong. So if you can find little tiny magnets that are really strong, those are your best options. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick one of them down. I'm going to place that right on the center of my tag. I'm going to take the second one and I'm going to place another glue dot on there, and I'm going to put that down toward the bottom of my tag. So these are, I'd say, about 1.5 inches apart. Now what I want to do is I want these to adhere to the magnets, but I want to make sure it's the correct polarity. So I'm going to open this up, and then when I just let it go, it'll automatically stick to the other magnet. I'm then going to put a glue dot on the back of each of these magnets, and then when I close this, they're going to adhere to the cardstock correctly, so my placement is good. Now the reason that I don't put them here is because these magnets are too strong, so they have to have a piece of cardstock in between. If you're using a different type of magnet, you may want to put it on the inside here and here so that they can adhere to each other better. Next, I'm going to take some sticky strip. The reason I'm using sticky strip is because this tag is going to be handled a lot. So I want to make sure that it doesn't come apart. So I'm going to line this whole tag with sticky strip. Once you've done that, you can just give it a quick rub just to adhere it better. You don't want to push too hard because you don't want to undo the embossing. Next, you're going to remove that adhesive backing on all of those pieces. And once you've done that, what you're going to do is very carefully line this up so that you're sure that you have the placement correct. And then you're going to press that sticky strip into the sides just so that it gets a nice grip. Now we're going to put an initial on this. So I'm going to use a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to use my embossing buddy just to take the static off of the paper. I'm using the Morning Post alphabet set, and I'm going to be using the I. I would like to emboss, so I'm using my Versamark water stamp pad. This is a great pad to emboss with because the ink stays wet long enough for me to apply the powder. So I'm going to stamp the I, and then when I lift it up, it's going to stay wet. I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper underneath just to catch my embossing powder. I'm using our black. I'm going to pour that on top, and then I'm going to tap off the excess, and then I'm going to emboss it with my heat gun. Once you've done that, you're going to take your 1 1/4 inch circle punch. You're going to center that over your letter and pop it out. I put 4 Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of the letter, and the glimmer paper sometimes is hard to adhere to, so I did put 4, which is a little bit of overkill, but I want to make sure, again, that this does not come apart. So I'm going to stick that on there. To decorate this one, I'm going to be using 2 of our small rhinestones, and I'm just going to pick them up with my scissor and just lay them onto the cardstock. Once you're done embellishing it, your project is complete, and now you can use this as a bookmark either for a book or I use it for a cookbook. So I hope you liked your sneak peek of the gold level exclusives at stampacademy.com. If you did, you can feel free to sign up for any of our classes, and once again we are at www.stampacademy.com.